Experience was interesting, but it is coming to an end soon. I originally started the off-grid running this 12 volt 3000 watt inverter. Now I replaced all the MOSFETs in this about a year ago, and honestly it handles things like a champ. Right now it's running my wash machine in the whole house. This is the 12 volt. I got a couple of mismatched deep cycles. Otherwise, these are just Group 24 Walmart value power batteries. And I'm running these two Midnight Classic 200s with 5,000 watts of solar coming in. Obviously, it's charging right now on a 12 volt bank. It was 24 volts, which is basically just jumpering these all over. But I had to go back to 12 volt as of today because my second power jack inverter has failed. Unlike the first one, which didn't last but an hour or two, this one lasted about 3 weeks. If you notice inside, I didn't open up this one. I did check out the last one. These only have one torrid in them, and the torrids I think are only rated for about 4,000 watts. And this thing will hold about 4,000 watts for a short period of time. That's more like the surge power. Obviously not 32,000 peak. This thing will never hit 8,000. And I expect that from Chinese manufacturers. They always overrate the living shit out of it. Now, that said, this thing did handle startup loads really good. I had it 24 volt on the battery side. 240 volt split phase on the AC side. And for the most part, it had really clean power. The pure sine wave was good. The battery charging part was a little iffy. I ran a generator into it. Just your Harbor Freight 4,000 watt generator running 240 single phase into it. And if I had a load on it, which I usually ran a dehumidifier, which pulled about 400 watts, it would stabilize and it would dump the other about 1,000 watts of power into the battery bank, whatever that comes out to in amps, I guess, on the battery side. And it would charge up fine. But otherwise, if you didn't have a heavy load, at least a 400, 500 watt load, this thing would basically try to draw the generator too high, too fast, and the generator would idle down a little bit before it kicked up, and then this thing would just flip back, forth. So, but I would suspect a MOSFET board blew in here. I didn't open this one up because I'm sending it back. I luckily have a couple days left of warranty before this thing expires in a warranty, and I am not able to return it. In the meanwhile, I will be connecting up the grid power in the next less than a week here. Be getting hooked back up to the grid. This has been a fun experience as of November 1st. It would have been 3 complete months off grid. I've been off grid since August 1st. And with this battery bank, this ragtag battery bank here, and primarily ran this as the inverter. Like I said, and this thing is ran like a champ. It doesn't handle the motor startup loads quite as good. Like for instance, my dryer starts up and really nothing else can be running to start the dryer, but once it starts up, then I can kick everything else on. Whereas this thing, it could handle the well pump, the washer starting up, and the dryer, and it was fine. Another note on this as far as how much it can handle. If it gets over the 3,000 mark, just shy of the 3,000 mark, and sustains power anywhere from 3 to the 4,000 mark, especially if it's hitting the 4,000 mark, because that's about maxed out. This will eventually overheat, go into overheat mode and shut down, and it'll have to cool off. I have had that happen a few times where it's just pushing, 3,200 watts, and it kaputs after a half hour of that. Or if it's, like I said, the closer you are to 4,000 watts, the faster it'll overheat. But anything under 3,000, it can handle just fine. So just know that in mind. If you want a decent pure sine wave inverter, a Chinese one, this one will do really well up until about the 3,000 watt mark, which is ironic because this one will put out the 3000 it claims it puts out, even though it's a Chinese inverter. But then again, like I said, I changed all the MOSFETs in it a while back. It blew them, which is, these things are known for that. These high frequency inverters are known to blow MOSFETs, but this one also blows them. So I just happened to be sitting here today at this table with a laptop. I normally don't sit down here in front of this thing, but I was sitting down here and it blew right in front of me, which is ironic because I've had this hooked up for over 3 weeks, and just one of the rare occasions I happened to be sitting in front of it, and she took a kaput. So, in the meanwhile, I guess that's my story. My Power Jack 8,000 watt low frequency inverter. Again, there's no way this will handle 8,000 watts with one torrid in it. And it looks like it has enough room. And I did see another YouTuber that had this model, and it had 2 torrids in it. He opened it up, it had 2 in there. So you tell me what the deal is with that, but I'm pretty much done with Power Jack. I mean, what can you expect? It's $350 for this shipped to the door, and just let's say a 4,000 watt rated model from Magnasign. You know, it's $2,200. Yeah, you're gonna get what you pay for. It's gonna last you a lot longer, but I don't know. You can't. I just can't afford to get in the game. It's, you know, over $2,000 for inverter. Not right now, because I mean, as it is right now, we're running off ragtag batteries, and those are probably even more important to start getting right now. I mean, I guess I could survive off of this if I really wanted to, but it's the battery bank that needs to be upgraded before even another inverter. So, anyway, signing off. Leave any questions down there, and I'll answer what I can.